Welcome, everybody, to the premiere episode of the BSB podcast, also known as
the Backstage Boys.
That's right. We went with BSB. People are going to make fun of that. We don't care. We don't give a fuck if you make fun of the fact that we're calling it BSB, because we all know what you're thinking.
There was another group, I think, that went by that name, but they weren't as popular as that we're going to be.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I mean, we don't have
I think they
anything right now, but we'll still be.
Yeah, I think we're okay.
I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so. All right. Anyway, so hey, welcome to the premiere episode, Basil. Let's introduce ourselves to the listeners here.
Well, Trent, since you went first, why don't
we introduce each other?
We'll just introduce each other. This is Trent. He's Brown Jesus, and then
period. You can leave it at that.
That's it. We're done, guys. Let's go home. And I'm Basil, and I look like I'm 12.
Basil never ages. If people have seen Basil, if you're going to an AEW show or many other shows, you usually see him ringside, and he's that little boy running around, very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed around the ringside. But that's Basil. So that's who we are.
But for real.
Yeah. So I'm Trent. I am with AEW. I'm a content producer with AEW. That's a fancy title I've given myself as a guy who helps come up with concepts, do social media, pretty much run show days, kind of run operations a little bit alongside everybody else, the team. So that's who I am. I've been around the scene for many years in terms of as a fan. Got into AEW about, I think I'm in 3 years now, maybe almost 4 years. So that's me. You probably see me all over the place if you're at AEW. So Basil?
Yeah, I'm Basil. I have a lot of different hats, especially at AEW.
Like you literally have a lot of different hats.
Literally. I'm wearing one right now.
Including the new AEW fitted hats.
Yeah, the Flex Fit hat.
Flex Fit hats available at the merchandise table for $30.
We're not a cheap plug, but whatever. So at AEW specifically, I do ringside photography, promo photography, and then I do video promos for DVDs, social media, all that different kind of stuff.
So he's a media producer.
Yeah, I mean
that's going to LinkedIn, right?
Let's get it go on my LinkedIn. When I go into a job at a corporate place, like, what is your claim to fame? Like, I film guys in their tights yelling at me in the camera
about fights that aren't like really fights.
But it's all good.
It's all good.
But also, we do a lot of other things outside of AEW. Trent is a musician extraordinaire.
I'm in 2 bands. One's called Hemi. That's my band for the last 15 years. Another one called Toxic Rocket. That's the last 3 years. Bass player and lead singer in Hemi. Guitarist Toxic Rocket. Both are recording bands, touring bands. You see us everywhere. I do video production or video commentaries with Ravens Film Productions. It's a local film company here in Chicago. And I also do another podcast. I just joined a Impact Wrestling podcast called the Impact Heads based out of New York. Then I call into that and I do a lot of stuff with them. So I'm all over the place, man.
Yeah, I not only do work at AEW, but a lot of other photography and videos across the Midwest, with PW Revolver out in Iowa. I'll do Glory Pro down in St. Louis.
Do you work for Rockstar too?
I've not worked for Rockstar. I've had invitations just in the middle of the week. It's kind of
that's right.
Yeah. But no, when that fits, when the schedule fits, I definitely want to go do Rockstar. Those shows are fun from what I've seen. Done Zello, Warrior Wrestling, and then so yeah, that's just some of the roles that we like to do on our free time.
So yeah, Basil's getting all over the place. That logo, that B logo, the famous the B logo,
the BM logo.
Look for the BM in the corner of some really nice pictures, and that's him.
Oh, you're too much.
I mean, I am a big fan.
I appreciate it.
Basil's work is exclusively featured on the AEW Instagram and the AEW Twitter a lot, so keep an eye for those as far as AEW goes, and now the video work too. Yeah, so that's really cool.
That's been really fun to get into. So, and that's what we kind of want this podcast to be about. There's a lot of podcasts interviewing wrestlers, talking about stories and their claim to fame and stuff like that. This is kind of Could it be as you can tell from the name, a backstage perspective? What goes into a show? What we have to do in between shows. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes that doesn't get noticed.
Yeah. To clarify, nothing's given away. We're not pulling the curtain back, but we're more so just kind of talking about from the production side, what goes into a live event production from our perspective, from the perspective of guys who do our jobs and what things we see. So you're not going to get any rumors here. You're not going to get any dirt, things of that nature, but you're going to get a really cool bird's eye view of like what goes into making the show happen, or what goes into bringing a media experience of what AEW is becoming more and more.
And something that we also want to do when we do get wrestlers on the podcast is talk to them, because with indie wrestling, wrestlers play a lot of different hats. They will be a face one day, and then they'll have to be the heel the next, or they have multiple different gimmicks. And something that we want to talk about is what goes into balancing all that, balancing the travel schedule, all those little type of things that you don't necessarily hear about that might be something in passing. And
perspective of like, hey, let's say they're working for, a different promotion on the East Coast Friday night and they're in AEW on Saturday. What's the mindset change you have to go through? How much preparation do you do between your storylines? What you're doing, for one promotion on one day, what you're doing for AEW the next day? How do you prepare for that? How do you get in the zone to bring that story to life, individualized for every city that you're in? So that's a big part of it. So that's what we'll be bringing. Like, there's a real perspective aspect to this podcast.
Yeah, so we just want to do something different, and we feel that this is fun. This has been a long time in the making, something that Trent and I are very passionate about.
Yeah, it's just something we enjoy. It's stuff we talk about anyway together, so we figure why not kind of talk about it with everybody else.
Yeah, and we love what we do at AEW, and we love being involved, and that's something that we want to bring to the fans, because a lot of our friends and fans at the show ask about certain things or how something gets done.
Yeah.
And it's pulling the curtain back just a little bit, just for you guys to understand all the value that goes into an indie show.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, because we feel that, especially this is going to be a lot of AEW stuff that we will be talking about on here, because him and I both work at AEW. But sometimes when I'm at another show, we'll talk about that. This is not exclusive to anything, or sometimes Trent will talk about when he's at a gig or something like that. So
yeah, so I mean, and again, that's perspective of bringing the show to the forefront, right? And we're going to discuss what goes into all that. We've also talked, what's on the agenda is an AEW exclusive podcast, pre-show and post-show stuff. That's on the agenda. That's being talked about. That'll be a whole separate feed. So that, if you're looking for more of that kind of content, very specific content, specific AEW stuff, stay tuned for that kind of, that it is a potential project on the horizon as well.
Do we have a Patreon yet?
Yeah, we should get
$50 buy-in.
Only $128 tiers. That $128 tier gets us to come to your house.
I don't think they want that.
And just hang out with you, eat your food, and go through your browser history.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not what we're about.
That's what you get for $128.
That's what you get for $128.
And we'll give you the shout out, right? We give you that's what you
shout out.
And we'll follow you on social media too. That's what we do. So we'll do all that stuff.
We're already burying. We already broke our first rule.
We're ad sober.
That's it. We're done. But no. Something that we want to talk about is we just had a show with AEW at 115 Bourbon Street, known as Wrestling Rules, Wrestling without the E.
Rules with a Z.
Rules with a Z, like Anarchy Rules.
Anarchy Rules. So the ECW fans listening will know what that means.
We actually made our graphic like it too. We had the little scribbling with the rules at the bottom.
It's funny to think because it's been 20 years since the Anarchy Rules show. So I guess it's fair game again,
dude. Everything with ECW, it's crazy because it's been dead longer than it's been alive now.
It was technically only alive for 7 years?
7 years.
Seven and a half years?
8 years. 8 years.
8 years.
I think 93. I don't think the Eastern Championship Wrestling stuff really counts too much.
So like 93 to 01, but it ended like March of or February of almost
February
last show.
And it's been 20 years, and it's almost 20 years.
Almost 20, yeah.
It's crazy. So
that is crazy to think, man. That it's
but it just shows how much of wrestling is borrowed and twisted or turned into something unique, which is something that happens in wrestling a lot that a lot of people don't realize. Everybody's influenced by somebody at this point, and there's very little originality, and the thing is you got to make that borrow idea into something original.
And it's a cyclical business, right? That what's old is new again, and old and new again, back and forth several times. It's but that's cool because it keeps everybody. There's always new waves of fans catching something.
Well, social media is not new.
Right.
Promos are not new.
Right.
Wrestling isn't new, but I feel like the change of direction that we've made at AEW is new. Yeah. We're putting out promos that aren't shot on an iPhone or whatever.
Yeah.
We're uploading that in the middle of the show. We're giving fans who weren't at the show a little bit of a taste to let them know what they're experiencing. And we're trying to deliver not only fast quantities of product, but the quality we want there. We want people to see the hard work that we're doing. We don't want to show something just super simple.
It's we're trying to create like a multimedia experience at a show. So it's like if you're at the show live, you have a sidebar online that you can follow along between matches, like a promo that was just shot minutes after you saw the guys go through the curtain, and within a few more minutes, it's in the palm of your hands on your phone. You can put your headphones on, listen to it right there.
This is what Trent and I handle. Like, we're running around, and especially if we're at like Logan. You have to go up a few flights of stairs. You have to run down a hall, around another corner just to get somewhere where it's decently quiet, so you can cut these promos. Yeah. Run back, get to internet access because Logan Square is a really old building.
We think we got it hard though about that ring crew, man. The ring crew's got it the worst at Logan Square.
The ring crew is, man. Props to them.
If anyone listening knows Logan Square, and you. Actually, now that you think about it, what it takes to get that ring up there, there's no elevator in the building.
There's nothing. There's stairs and more stairs.
Those guys work hard, so shout out to the ring crew. Our ring crew is very interesting, too.
Our ring crew is eclectic.
It's a very eclectic group of guys. That is like a faction right there. They're a faction.
Yeah, they really are.
But yeah, shout out to those guys. They work hard. But yeah, no, Logan's tough because we're always running around. I think I counted like 22,000 steps last show.
Every time I have an iPhone, so I have the rings with my Apple Watch, and there's sometimes where I'll get to a show and I might have filled it up or almost filled up. I'll be double or triple on my circles by the time a show is done. It's
great workout. I mean, AEW shows are an awesome workout. I say LaSalle too, for that matter.
LaSalle's a good workout because LaSalle, there's stairs at LaSalle. Luckily, the ring crew doesn't have to go through stairs, but the locker room is down multiple flights of stairs.
Two long flights of stairs.
Two long flights of stairs and zero internet connection down there.
Yeah, so that's another one where we're like running around, but it's a very satisfying.
Bourbon is the easiest. Bourbon, we have the most
level playing field. Yeah,
everything is
I'm curious.
Ground level.
I'm curious which building fans prefer.
Do you know what? That's something that we'll have to figure out. Maybe we can make that a AEW poll.
A poll. I'd like
on Twitter.
I'm curious what building people prefer as far as many factors, right? Atmosphere, ease of comfort, ease of accessibility. All those different factors that can go into it.
And they have so many different feels that I like it because you see so many different indie promotions that typically run out of the same building.
Yeah.
And something I'm glad that we don't do, and this is not a knock at any promotion because you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we don't run out of a gym.
Yeah, I am too, because I always had this weird thing about the basketball hoop being pulled up, and it's always visible in shots.
Yeah, and we don't have that.
And I feel like it immediately it tells you like, oh, this is a gym.
Yeah.
Even if even if it's a gym and you don't see that, like there's no way to that it's that quick perception. Like when you see that like basketball hoop pulled up or like the high school banners in the background, you're like, It's just a gym. Then it turns into indie wrestling,
Yeah,
right?
we have 3 different buildings that have 3 completely different group of fans. Like obviously we have we obviously have our core group of fans that we love very much that will go
to all of the
to all of them. And LaSalle's a 2-hour drive from the city, hour and a half if you're out in the burbs, depending on where. But if you're coming from the city, you're 2 hours out, and those fans are dedicated.
You have to be to take 2-hour drive out, a 2-hour drive back, late night, especially when the show's over. Not easy. So people who caravan these shows, man, that's awesome. So, but each building has a very unique personality in terms of look, vibe, crowd, and that's kind of interesting. We talk about that a lot. How one crowd differs so much from the other, even though it's the same company, a lot of the same fans, but there's that X factor of like the fans who only go to certain venues that kind of shift the bell curve a little bit, to give it the personality.
And it changes our production.
It does,
how we work or what we do in what order.
Yeah.
Depending on the venue that we're at.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
At the end product, it all looks the same, but it's shuffling our cards and doing things at different times to get it done properly. So there's a lot of running around. There's a lot that goes into a show, and we just want to say, first and foremost, thank you to everybody who makes it to shows.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And all this, because we couldn't do this without you. We couldn't live our dreams. Like, Trent and I are not wrestlers. That we're not aspiring to be wrestlers. We just love wrestling, and this is our small way of being a part of it. And this is almost our small way of giving back to the fans.
I think so. Yeah, it's crazy to think that we're in it. In the capacity even that we're in. We're not stars. We're not even former wrestlers or anything. But the fact that we got in, we get to know some of these guys who were on TV. We know them. Like we get to say, oh, that's friends of ours, or like people we know who have moved on or retired. I mean, we've seen a lot in a very short amount of time. To be involved in a business we grew up watching is pretty fun in whatever capacity. So we're very grateful to AEW management and ownership and other companies like Basil's gotten opportunities to just allow us in as we are.
I've been so grateful to work for all these different promotions that I listed, and there's still opportunities growing and what I've learned, and it's been an amazing experience so far, and it's crazy. It's only been a year in the business. For
you,
me,
it's only a year. Yeah.
For you, how long has it been?
3 years
for
me.
3 years for you.
Yeah.
So.
But coming in real small. Like, I was just putting on posters. The way I got in was offering my music for AEW's Roku show that they had on Maddie GTV initially, and then just putting up posters, and it just grew from there. So it's almost a thing. It's like anybody listening, if you want to be involved, it is not impossible if you have the guts to try and just ask people to get involved. I've noticed that like indie promotions, they want good help. They don't want just anybody behind the curtain, but they want people who have good ideas, have good perspective, and a good head on their shoulders that they can trust.
And they want something that I've noticed. They want people who they've seen at shows before.
Yeah.
If you show up to a show that you've never been to before, it's not a good idea to ask, "Hey, can I be part of it?" Like they want to see your face. Like Danny and Trent saw me in the crowd for a few shows taking pictures.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was posting my stuff up on social media, and then they're like, "Hey, can we have you take our pictures for us?" And that's pretty much where it all stemmed off. It wasn't even from me asking. So, I mean, sometimes for me, I had something to show before I asked, but
I think anybody should, right? Like, have something to offer. It's not impossible to get. There was no prerequisite to get into this. So if you have something good to offer.
You mean you don't need a college degree?
No, not for this.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to save a lot of money.
Dang it. What did we do so wrong?
I don't know. But, I mean, honestly, I look back and I think to myself, like, I wish I could have gotten involved sooner.
Same.
Because if I knew that, hey, if I came at this respectfully and intelligently, I could have been involved sooner. I just never thought about it. So think about it. Yeah, if it's something you like to do, I mean, it definitely brings something to the table.
Yeah.
I envy, like, Brian and Tony, like two of our other production guys. They've been there for, like, since almost, like, Tony's been there nearly day one.
Yeah, Brian's been there 12 years
11
now.
or 12 years. Like, they've seen everything. They've seen all this growth, and they've seen it when it go from like a 100-person crowd to what it is now. Kind of, I mean, it's incredible to see all the history that they've gotten to witness.
Brian reminds me of stuff that I can't even remember.
Yeah,
like,
he's an encyclopedia.
He's seriously an encyclopedia when it comes to AEW's history and just stuff in general with stuff like that. Yeah. So,
but it's cool. I would like he took a chance to get involved early. Yeah, like I credit him for that. Like he pushed for it. And that's awesome to me. I think that's pretty cool.
And that's something else. Like we're gonna get other people who are part of production crews, or part of the inner workings of AEW and possibly other companies.
I mean, interesting to see what they go in mindset wise. Because for us, we prepare from as soon as like one show ends, we're already planning what we're going to do for the next one.
We were planning for the next show. We have to, I have to plan for the next show because in the middle of the show, post-match promos are hyping the next show. And then,
we're already planning August at this point. We're thinking about.
I mean, we have 4 shows until August, and we have something in plan for all of those that we have in text conversations or whatever, something to get prepared for social media
and we're not talking booking either. We're talking multimedia type level stuff. We're not even talking like booking matches. That's not our job.
No, we don't book matches. We don't.
We're talking about the media, the media experience of the whole thing. How better ways we can bring it to the fans.
Spread out the promos. Like we don't want to. Something that we don't like to do is put out all of our promos the day after the show and then radio silence for a month. Like all that stuff is calculated, not calculated, but like specifically spaced out.
Yeah.
Because it's almost our job in between the shows to keep the hype going. We want to keep people talking about AEW and what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's not something that 2-3 weeks down the line, oh yeah, AEW's having a show.
Right.
We want to keep that on people's minds, and that's our jobs to do. That's mine and Trent's job to do that, to keep that hyped.
And the tricky part is making sure we gather enough at the last show in order to be able to do that. Because if we run short on content and ideas, then we shoot ourselves in the foot in keeping that hype wave going until the next show.
Yeah, so it's a crazy balance that we do. It's every day there's some sort of conversation, at least between Trent, myself, and Brian.
Yeah.
Talking about what to do, because Brian does video screen production where the video screens, when you see the wrestlers come out, he's making all those logos, and we're trying to figure out what talent is coming in and who needs what. So there's a lot of little things that go on.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun for us. It's a high to get to think of these ideas and kind of bring this kind of stuff to life that we only imagined, how it was done at one time. So now we get to be a part of it, which is cool. And I think too, in a grateful sense, I think we're given a lot of free reign to say, all right, go do what you think is going to work. What you guys believe in, follow it. And we get our feedback and our criticisms, because we're not always hitting a home run on everything. And I love that when we bring an idea sometimes, we get the plot holes pointed out to us that we didn't think of. We're like, oh shit, we didn't think about that.
Yeah, we don't think about certain things. Like we'll talk to Danny, and that's talk to Mike.
Yeah,
and that's something that we have, is that open line of communication, which works out well.
I think, but that shows that that shows our experience level. Like, we came, in the back of our minds, like, we know already so much about this business. We're already doing this. Sometimes we'll bring an idea to Danny, and he'll point out something like, Jesus, we don't know anything. Like we're completely falling short on catching those things. But like, that's the experience though. That's why he's the man, and we're still young cubs in this whole thing.
And one of the big things that I felt like we had a turning point a few shows ago. Mm-hmm. Take No Prisoners, I felt, was our big come around show that I felt that we've been in a slump. I think from Unstoppable, we had a really good show at Unstoppable, Windy City, and then there was a lot of drama, we'll just say, with Windy City Classic that it didn't make it feel like a normal Windy City Classic.
Yeah.
It was at That wasn't at.
It wasn't at Logan.
It wasn't at Logan. It was at Bourbon. It was in December.
Yeah.
It was just, and then from those couple shows after, those few shows after, everything just felt kind of meh. And then one of the big turning points was us coming up to Danny and Mike and explaining, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we feel how the show should go in a sense of production, video-wise, promos, or storylines. We need to bring back certain elements. And they heard us out. And
they trusted us.
Yeah, and we feel these last two shows have been some of the best shows that we've had in over a year, minimum.
Take No Prisoners was talked about for a month.
Take No Prisoners was crazy good, and we didn't even have half of our champions.
That's remarkable that we rode a wave on that show for a month without even having our champ. Our heavyweight champion was in Japan.
Yeah,
with the belt.
With the belt, which was crazy to see him take that picture in front of the Tokyo Dome and him walk out with that for every match. And
it is pretty impressive. I mean, things like so. It shows that AEW's a player in that regard, and then as a player, we have to live up to that name, which we're trying to definitely do. And then, but Take No Prisoners was a big turning point. That was a new chapter. And I think that was awesome, and we're trying to just keep that going. But that was fun. I mean, it's fun to try something. You know, it might not. We weren't sure if it was going to be a hit. We went in there thinking this could completely fail.
Yeah.
You know, but we said, what the hell? Let's just try it.
We listen to social media. We listen to people's reactions on Twitter.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, anybody can be on a high after a show. When you go to a show live, a lot of people are on a high.
Yeah.
But the real feedback is listening to people a week or two after.
Still talking about it.
Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
And we take that because Trent and I are on the social media reading everything.
Yeah.
And we try to take that, and we try to, because at the end of the day, I mean, we're still just a local indie show, and we got to make the people who come to those shows happy.
We got to keep our core, our city happy. The people who are here buying a ticket every month have to be happy. That's first and foremost.
It doesn't work if they're not.
Right. We are looking to keep them impressed and interested.
Nobody wants to watch a show with 10 people in the crowd.
No, absolutely not.
So that's part of the big show feel.
Yeah. Is
packing Logan, packing Bourbon, when we have to open the doors and to go into that outdoor patio outdoor outdoor room over there.
Yeah, the overflow room.
When we can open that for merch and then have fans just all the way in, that's the best feeling.
Yeah.
Is when the fans are there and they're excited, and there's a ton of them. We enjoy that the most.
I love it because we are low on this totem pole in terms of like where we rank in AEW, on the organizational chart. It's not our company, obviously, whatever. But the fact that people come up to us to praise it and tell us how much they like it and whatnot, because we try, we are out there a little bit more. We're more forward facing, so it's like such pride to say, man, we really are part of something special here.
Well, we sat in the crowd with a lot of those fans.
That's the thing too. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, we were there. We still look at it like that.
We don't view them in a different light as I'm too good for you. It's like, no, I want to see these people. I want to hang out with them in between the show and before or after. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
So
it's good times. It's a really good, amazing experience, man. I gotta say, so far. So yeah, putting a bow on that, as they say. It's definitely it's something people want to do. And honestly, man, I'm not sitting there trying to open a door to AEW, but I'm just like, if you have good ideas, like you could tell us. I mean, if something's good, if people have good talent, or they have a knack for something, you could tell us. I mean, tweet it to AEW.
Facebook. If you don't want to make it public, you can always send a message on Facebook.
AEW is very interactive. We want to hear from the fans. They want to know what you're thinking.
We like criticism, both good and bad. We want to know how you feel about the show, because we can take that, and we know sometimes people don't say things in the best way, but Trent and I can take that information.
Yeah.
and package it
Right, exactly.
properly and try to convey that message in the best way possible and just try to make something better. Even though we thought Take No Prisoners was our best show that we did, we know there's still room for improvement, what we can
100%.
do. So we never feel that we're done. So
I think that's the right attitude to have. You can ask Vince McMahon; he's probably thinking every show could be better.
Yeah.
To this day, kind of thing, right? So like, we always have to adopt that mindset that we're pushing forward. But yeah, I welcome fans to give feedback. I mean, we even had fans give feedback on how loud the music was. Like how, hey, it's not loud enough. It helps me. I'm not as into it when it's at that level you guys normally keep at. And I was like, wow, thanks. That's great feedback. Even something that small, it's like, you know what, crank it up a little more.
Yeah.
Just so it's louder in the arena.
Anything to make that experience 1% better than the last time,
We'll take it.
We'll do it.
So, and I would encourage anybody to do that to any promotion you watch.
Yeah.
If you're watching don't ever hold back on a good idea.
You pay for your ticket.
Right.
You get that right to speak. I mean, as long as you're doing it respectfully, don't use a bunch of slanders or call names or whatever.
Like,
but
don't lower the bar on that. You know?
Yeah, just, you know what? You can tweet or whatever. Like we said, you can say what you want to say. Don't be afraid. We're not gonna be upset. We're gonna take that.
Yeah.
We might use it. We might not. But we want to make the product better. And something that, like we were talking about with our roles at AEW aren't always the same as per the last show at Wrestling Rules.
Yeah. Big, I mean, you got to roll the changes, right? So,
we had, both of us did stuff that we normally don't do. Trent, you were...
I had to, like, for example, normally I'm alongside Basil. Once the show starts, we're planning promos, social media. I'm mapping out social media, things of that nature.
We're joined at the hips, typically.
Yeah, pretty much. Siamese style.
Yeah.
But we're prepping the multimedia experience that's going to happen alongside, that's sidebarring the whole show and beyond. Last show, I had to jump on the merch table because the normal merch girls were not able to make the show. So I had to be at the merch table because I have been known to Don West the hell out of merchandise. So,
you do Don West some good merch.
I was at the merch table. But while at the merch table, I still did the social media stuff because Basil you had a different job.
I had a different job. So Smart Mark Video usually handles all of our promos for the DVD and
video on demand
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But one of the guys wasn't there, so I was in charge of running all the promos, which is something I normally don't do.
Right.
And so I was running around with Dr. Keith Lipinski.
Keith was the head producer.
And that was a joy to work with him, to pick his brain.
Keith is an interesting... It's crazy to think how long he's actually been in the business. When you think about it, Keith has been around in this business for a long time.
Yeah, and it's to hear him how we go over promos and stuff like that. And he was listening to some of my ideas, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
I kept feeling like I was overstepping my bounds.
Yeah.
With it, and I was like, "Yo, I'm sorry." He's like, "Don't apologize. This is good. We can work with this."
Yeah.
Or he'll tell me, "Oh, maybe we need to do something like this." And I was like,
he's another one of those guys who, again, you think you got to figure it out, and then Keith will present it with a new perspective you didn't think about, and it's like, holy shit, I didn't catch that. Again, it's like, it's mind-boggling how much we think we know, and then we find out we don't. When you talk to more experienced people,
it was great to work with him. I've never worked with him for a full show like that. It's always Trent and I kind of freelancing this out and trying to do our own thing.
Yeah.
So it felt good to have a little bit of direction, to see that and get that experience. And shooting all the promos was fun. But while we're doing that, I'm running around. Luckily, I bring a laptop with me to shows, and it makes things easier.
Yeah.
To edit and get it to Trent to put up on our social media. And then I was getting the promos for the middle of the show to Brian. So there was just a lot of copying and stuff like that. I think I lost a memory card at the show. Yeah, I don't even remember.
Long gone.
It's long gone. But it's just one of those things that I was just running around trying to get done. And it was crazy, and you were doing great at the merch table. Fans were coming up to you. You were able to talk to them a little bit better than you have.
The merch table is an interesting place because it's a great place for you can gauge people at the merch table because they'll talk about the last show. They'll talk about a show a year ago. They'll tell you what they like, what they do. It's interesting. I get to interact a lot and kind of learn. So I didn't mind it whatsoever.
You also get a feeling for how they are that night.
Exactly, yeah.
And sometimes they'll come up to you after a match or talk to you about something that they're hyped about at that show.
Yeah,
so.
Which is great, which is an awesome place to be. So, if you ever see me at the merch table, come say hello.
Come say hi.
I'll sell you a DVD or two or three.
Grab bag.
Grab bags. Grab bags will be back. People ask about those grab bags a lot. But no, what's cool is that ever since you came on, Basil, we have really upped our I keep using the word multimedia, but I love that word because it shows that we are not just like, here's a show and what you see at the show and that's it, and DVD will be out in a couple weeks and blah blah blah. We have created an experience that, Basil, you were a big part of because you brought this, like I said, you bring in the laptop, the new cameras, the lighting, ideas. So now we have created a sidebar. I love sidebars while a show's going on. I love that direct interaction that you can like be watching a show and engaging with the Twitter or the message board or like the live tweet. I remember there's wrestling companies that have done that in the past. WCW did that back with their live show back in the day. Impact did it for a while. They stopped doing it. I mean, it was like nobody's ever consistently done a sidebar to a wrestling show, which I think I love that we're starting that.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work, and thank you. It's very much appreciative. And the wrestlers are always like, why are you sweating? Like, did you wrestle? I'm like, no, dude, I'm running around up and down stairs multiple times and getting back to you, getting back to Danny, because I'm having to get feedback from them, or I'll try to pitch an idea to them mid-show, be like, hey, can we do this?
Yeah.
And get this done, and if it wasn't discussed beforehand. So there's a lot to go in, and we're trying to make AEW more than just, like Trent said, just a show. We want to make it something where it's constantly thought about and constantly interacted with the entire month.
I love seeing, I look out sometimes, I love catching somebody's phone screen and they're watching something we just put out, like a minute before. They're watching it while a match is, ending, just about to start the next one. They're checking out.
Have you seen that?
Oh, dude, all the time.
Nice.
I see it all the time. I see people on Twitter.
This is the part that you see,
right? I get to
you're behind the crowd sometimes.
I'm gauging the crowd. I'm watching, like a match is wrapping up, and there's somebody tweeting about it on their own timeline, and then they're seeing what we just tweeted. Like now they're watching a promo. They're looking at what photo we put up. I mean, it's fantastic. I think it's so cool to see that happening right in front of my eyes. I'm like, I just tweeted that, and I see 3 people retweeting it in front of me. That's awesome. And they're looking at it, and then they're telling their friend, look at this. And so that stuff is cool to me. I think that's that brings us so close with our audience, and I love that.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we do it for. So
yeah.
I know we had kind of a long-winded intro about everything, but we felt like we've had so many different roles in what we do. But on today's episode, we want to talk about wrestling rules. We're going to talk about the results, and then we're going to talk about some of the things that we went in between what went in between some of those promos.
Yeah, we'll just offer our general feedback and ideas, and then of the match, because the match is, I think it's been reported, it's been out there, but we want to talk about what we brought to enhance everything, and then just some general thoughts on the match itself as well. So yeah, it kicked off. We were at 115 Bourbon Street. I love that venue personally.
I love the venue for photos. Like
for photos, looks fantastic.
The lighting in there is so perfect. It's dark, but it's well lit,
and it's spacious, easy to run around.
There's food, there's booze.
I love it, man. It's far for a lot of people, but I like it.
The good thing about that place is if you show up like an hour early, not like an hour before the show, but an hour before doors, there's a restaurant in there, and you can eat, and you can actually get a proper meal. You don't have to eat pizza or
Yeah.
popcorn that's served during
Well,
the show. You
the
can
food
actually
is
get
bomb.
legit food. So
Yeah.
that's something to think about if you have free time.
I believe they'll even bring the food into the wrestling
Will they?
room. Yes, they will. If you ask a waitress, they'll bring it in. You can have like
that's crazy.
full-on burgers at your seat.
Their burgers are delicious. I've had their burgers.
Burger Street's awesome.
So we have our first match.
Well, actually, no, we kicked off with that brawl.
Yes, I was there,
Yeah.
which I felt like I was gonna die.
I think Brody was at the merch table, right? And
Yeah.
then Sammy interrupted the intro.
And we'll be honest, like some things like that are planned, but I had no clue. I was just out there recording the crowd.
Yeah.
I was given no warning, and that's kind of why in the video it starts off with Sammy pushing Tyler.
Yeah.
And I go, what the hell is happening? And I'm like, okay, this is happening again.
Tyler Volzer, AEW commentator, play-by-play, right?
Who's so good.
Tyler's awesome.
Tyler,
Yeah.
like, there's with indie shows, like, I will put some indie shows on mute, and I will just be playing video games, and I'll just have it in the background. But Tyler does a great job. Because I have to watch back the shows.
Yeah.
Because I'm not watching the full shows anymore.
Right.
When I was just doing full ringside photography. Now with all the promos and stuff.
I kind of miss that sometimes,
Yeah.
Just getting to watch our
Yeah.
shows, like how good our shows are.
I have to watch it like a week
Yeah.
or two later after we get the whole show edited. But Tyler makes it very easy to listen to.
Tyler, and then especially when he's with Derek St. Holmes and LaSalle.
Yeah, Set LaSalle.
The two of them together are fantastic. I really like Derek and Tyler.
I also
a lot.
like Davey.
Yeah, David.
Davey
That's
did a
right.
good-
Did he do a
Davey-
full show?
I believe so. I don't
I think he
remember.
did actually. I think
he did. I thought it was a Bourbon Street show. He did a full show.
Nice, yeah.
So Sammy and Brody get into another brawl, which that first brawl at Take No Prisoners,
That's nuts, man.
that was insane. We were trying to start something new with doing an interview in the crowd,
That was great.
and then it went.
Yeah, we were polling some of our fans, like, what do you like about AEW? And then next thing we know, a fight. You can even see it on camera, like the
ball
fight
tap.
starting. Yeah, the ball tap.
It's the ball tap.
The ball tap. It just started this whole like ridiculous fight, and then you can see the camera. You can hear Basil go, "Wait a minute, whoa, what's going
Like
on?"
I'm trying to like run backwards
Yeah.
because they were. I don't know if you've ever seen a Sami Callihan or an OVE match. They don't stay in the ring well at
No.
all.
They're wild.
I get a lot of my steps in that way. Was
Yeah.
running around from those.
I was just by the entranceway. I had my earpiece on. I had my clipboard with my like itinerary for the night, and this chaos ensues, and people are coming to me going, "Are you are you gonna jump in there? What's going on? What's going on?" But like, everybody, the locker room empty. I mean, we were like, it was pretty thrilling, man. I gotta
It was
say.
nuts. It was insane. So
And that's before anything happened.
that was right at the start of the show.
Yeah.
So
then they brawled again at the start of this show. Like
Yeah.
these two are really going at each other. So that kicked it off pretty nice and fun. That was hot.
yeah, and then we had the returning Rich Swann coming back to AEW, who's making his rounds again on the indie scene after leaving WWE, and I feel that
I like how he was welcomed back really nicely.
he was welcomed back very nicely. His entrance was dope.
And it was awesome.
It was so fun to hear that again.
Yeah.
And then he went against two young bloods, Stephen Wolf and Myron Reed.
Future of the company right there.
That was
Yeah.
that I was able to watch.
The-
That was a fun match.
Yeah, that's what you want for the opener. Open it hot, man. Open it. What better three can you ask for to open the show up? That was awesome.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was great to see Swan back, and it was great to see Wolf and Reed get to work with someone who's experienced.
Yeah, I mean his caliber. He's a higher caliber, experience.
I mean, former WWE Cruiserweight champion.
Yeah.
He was on NXT to the Cruiserweight Classic. He was.
I mean, he's a seasoned vet, man.
Yeah,
he's on Impact now.
He's on Impact. He was on CZW.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's just great talent in the ring.
No, he's fantastic. Rich Swann is great, man, and that was a great opener. We had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah, and then we had some women's wrestling match. We had Savannah Stone, who's the debuting Savannah Stone.
That's right.
Yeah, trained down in St. Louis. who was on Raw actually a few months
Was she?
back. Yeah, she was an enhancement talent.
Oh, really?
But she's still learning, but she is. You can tell, like,
Hungry for it, right?
yeah, she's hungry. She listens well.
Yeah,
She's excited to be at shows. She's
that's
always
fun.
she's helping with crew and all that stuff.
Yeah.
She's not one of those just diva type girls who just sit around and do nothing. Like, she's gonna be, once she gets some good experience under her belt,
Yeah.
she'll get it. It's just not there. She's young. She just turned 18.
Oh, she's only 18?
She was on Raw when she was 17.
That's nuts.
I don't know how they made that happen, but
Good
they
for
did.
her, man.
Yeah, so that's good. And then
our fixture Scarlett,
Yeah.
against her, but yeah, Scarlett picked up that
Scarlett's always a fan favorite.
one. Big time. Everybody loves Scarlett. I don't think anybody hates Scarlett.
I don't think so at all. So, and then we went into a promo package, which was very fun for me to shoot.
Well, this is Jimmy explaining his actions for interrupting the show at Take No Prisoners. He interrupted during intermission and cussed scathing promo on everybody involved in AEW. So this we had his follow up to that, basically, that you got to film.
Yeah, and that was really fun because people were asking. This is something that we can slightly bring back the curtain with a little bit. People were asking, like, where did you shoot that? And I didn't really want to say where I shot it at, because if I did, it would have given away where what would happen later in the show. So with this, we wanted to give the impression that Jimmy was at home. So we shot it in front of a house. I'm not going to say where the house was, but we shot it in front of a house, and it worked out beautifully.
I mean, you told the story, man.
That was something that we wanted to make the fans feel, that Jimmy was not at the show.
Yeah.
And it worked flawlessly.
So we set it up. He apologized. He did, he made a statement, and then everybody's like, okay, well, I guess Jimmy's not here. That was just a one-time thing. And people thought that because you saw the reaction down the line. But yeah, moving forward, we had Eddie, Kingston, and Moose. This was a fun match.
This is good. Like, Moose is showing that he can do a lot of different things. Like, he had that awesome match with Keith Lee.
Yeah.
And then now he's going into this brawler style with Eddie.
Yes, I think Moose is constantly evolving, which I love about him. He seems very serious about his work. I remember some promo. We cut a reaction with him, and you said he studied how he came off for like a long time after.
Yeah,
he's so serious about his craft.
Yeah, I was. That was our LaSalle show, and then we had a Glory Pro show the next day. That it was me and DJ Z and Moose in the car. And Moose watched his promo probably 5 or 6 times and was critiquing himself.
I mean, that's remarkable.
And how he wants to get better. It was a 1-minute promo.
And it was out there. Like, it was already, there was no taking it back. But he still studied the hell out of it. And then that goes for his wrestling career, too. I feel like he is always improving. And this match was fantastic. This was way better than I thought it would be. And that's not a knock on these guys. I just thought it'd be like just a regular brawl, but it was an exciting brawl.
It was a solid 10-minute match too, which is a perfect match for somewhere mid on the card. I feel like those 5-6 minute matches don't do it for me. I don't feel that there's enough storytelling that can be told. And
you need 10 minutes to at least build something out there. Right?
Build something. You have that start. You have that middle, back and forth. You want that struggle between.
Yeah. And
then you have that good ending, which was very much needed.
Yeah.
Which is what I enjoy in a good mid-card match like that.
Yeah.
So
I liked it. It was perfect.
Yeah. And then
we had a Kimberly promo. Kimberly, our second AEW Women's Champion. She defeated Havoc at Take No Prisoners.
Yes.
They were the main event of Take No Prisoners.
Yeah, that was the first time in Chicago that we had a women's main event.
Is it the first time ever?
We've never had. We've had it at LaSalle.
Yeah.
But in Chicago, that was the first all women's main event, and it worked out well. I felt And for that show, we initially had Lucha Brothers versus Myron and AR Fox, Firefox, Firefox, to be the main event, and we made a decision last minute, like, we don't have an AAW champion, so the second best thing is our women's champion,
and she was there.
And
I mean, the match was already set to happen anyway.
It was set to happen, and it was felt that was the right move to make.
Yeah.
Because there was a title change that happened, and it just felt right.
Yeah.
To just do that, and the crowd reacted really well to it because
it was cool.
I feel that ending a show with a tag match without anything on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's good, and you can have that awe feeling, but you need that statement, and Kimberly made that statement, and she made another statement at Wrestling Rules with her promo on Kylie Ray.
Yeah, I think she really let it be known that she's taking Kylie seriously, that we should all take Kylie seriously, and like, I think she says in the promo, like, I didn't know who you were. I'd look you up, and then I realized, you're somebody I gotta take care of, whatever it is. But yeah, so she let it be known that, hey, I got a pretty decent challenge ahead of me, and I got to take care of it. So it was cool. It was a cool little promo. We got it out there, set up that match. That was fun. And then we went with another. Speaking of women's matches, we had Hudson Evie and Su Yung, which was great.
Su Yung. I love Su. I love Su, man. Su's character, Su's actions in the ring, the mist. Just how she presents herself, it's just amazing.
I think she legit puts everybody back, and there are certain characters in wrestling that still polarize you. With all we know, there's still certain wrestlers who, like, you still stop in your tracks.
Do you know what she channels? She channels her Undertaker very perfectly. Yeah. Like, and I know the gimmick. I'm not saying, like, because they're both, like, dead and whatever, but, like, when even to this day, like, adults want to see The Undertaker. Yeah, we all know. Whatever. Yeah. Like, we know he's not a dead person. He's not whatever. But, like, we like to feel lost, and Sue gives us that feeling of being lost in wrestling and just enjoying it for what it is. Like, that's what wrestling is all about. Not, oh, well, this isn't real. Of course that character isn't legit. Of course she's not an undead zombie. But when she's out there, she's an undead zombie and a zombie bride, and she's polarizing.
She gives you no reason to not think she is.
Yeah.
That's the part I like. So
she doesn't cut promos.
No, I mean, you tried to get one.
We tried to cut a promo. You tried
to get her thoughts, because she's got the title match now.
Yeah.
And you tried to get her thoughts, and you got misted.
I got,
like, legit, you got misted.
Myself and Keith got misted by Su Yung, and it took 2 days to wash it off.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what the hell that blood, man.
Oh man, dude, Hudson was covered in it. I saw. Yeah, I have a picture of her. I snapped a shot of her when she was outside, and her face is just dyed red. So, but yeah, Su Yung came out on top in this match, and there was a lot that happened. It wasn't a simple 2, 3, 5 minute match. This was a good almost 12 minutes or something.
This was, nearly 12 minutes, 11 and a half minutes.
So
it was up there, man.
Yeah, it was good.
We had a title match next. This was hyped pretty well. This was Trevor Lee and Trey Miguel. This was Trey was on a nice little streak here. He went from a losing streak to a win streak, and this was.
He had that great match with DJZ at Take No Prisoners.
It was fantastic.
That was the opening match.
They set it on fire, man. That was great.
Yeah, and I remember when I was there, and they're DJZ and Trey are like, let's do this. Let's go balls to balls. Let's have fun.
Trey is such a amazing rising star, man. He is so hungry to just make a name.
And the best part about Trey is not just his wrestling, but it's him as a person. Like, he comes from a very not well put background.
Yeah.
He came up with a really, like, hard upbringing, and he's very proud that he's making something for himself. He's very proud to represent his town, his city, his family.
Where's he from originally? He's from Ohio?
He's from Ohio.
Yeah.
So he's always talking about that on his social media, on his Facebook, like how he just wants to make his family and his friends proud, and that's something that's very important to him.
I feel it comes out in his performance.
It really does, and in his promos and stuff like that, he's
genuine.
There's
man.
a lot of passion in there.
Yeah, like I am hooked. Like we did one with him in LaSalle before his match with Phoenix, and man, I was like, he had me like I was drawn in because he was so serious about going into that match to make a statement. He didn't win. He lost the match, but it was what a great lead to that match. So I feel like he's going into things so properly, man.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Trevor Lee
squeaked it out. Trey
so
fell short.
he kind of put a damper to the story of Trey Miguel's rise, but Trey's still very young, and
a lot of more opportunities.
There'll be more opportunities, and then something else. We had another promo where David Starr caught up with Eddie Kingston, talking about his loss, and it was almost foreshadowing of what's to come. He was very down on him about his up and down streak.
Yeah.
So that was a good promo that was shot. That wasn't put on social media, which that's just kind of the double-edged sword of when we had to have different roles. That was one of the things that we missed.
Buy the DVD though.
Buy the DVD. It'll be on the DVD. But yeah, that was one of the things that we missed because we were just running around doing so many different things.
And that's one of the things. Again, going back to what we talked about earlier, you have to improvise. We had to be selective because we didn't have our full resource like we normally do. So we had to continue our sidebar, but be selective and make it. So we had to. That one got missed to be put out there, but it lives. It's going to be on the video, so that was cool. Then we were we got to the insane Sammy and Brody match.
Sammy and Brody just
I can't even say anything else about this match. Was like the most ridiculous thing
there
ever.
Was anybody who you think would get involved did, and somebody you didn't think would get involved did as well, because this match did not start off like a normal match at all. This was just straight ass kicking.
This was a fight, man. Like
it was a fight. This wasn't a wrestling match.
They went all over the arena. And they went all over every nook and cranny of the room.
Well, so OI4K got involved after Jimmy Jacobs got himself involved.
Right,
Jimmy Jacobs got involved, which to the much surprise of everybody.
That's right.
Because we thought Jimmy was at home, or the crowd thought Jimmy was at home.
Everybody was pretty content with Jimmy being at home.
Jimmy was at home. Hashtag Jimmy at home. Hashtag Jimmy at home. But Jimmy comes out and just starts pounding on Sammy, and then OI4K comes out and they start going at it to the point where they're fighting everywhere, where Jake Christ jumps off the balcony. We thought we saw all of our balcony shots, but no. Like, Jake, I try to run up behind Jake for this because I see him going upstairs. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like, Jake, like, I don't care what's going on. I've seen Sammy and Brody fight. I'm going to go up with Jake. And I barely had enough time to set it up. And Jake just runs. Like, there was no him surveying the spot, measuring. It was, he looks real quick, ran, dove off the balcony and into everybody. All the refs, the security guards, the wrestlers. It was just a mess. And then Sammy got out of way and decide to destroy poor Nate.
Our referee Nate.
Poor Nate. It was his first day on the job.
And he got put through a table in a clip that's been circulated.
He got put through a table.
Wrestling with Unicorns caught this clip, I believe, and this clip of him just getting decimated. But it wasn't just the table. Sammy then covers him with the remaining piece of the table and starts smashing a chair.
And then Dave joins him. Dave Chris joins him and starts smashing him as well.
I was like, man, his first day on the job.
Did you see the picture of just Nate, just like his limpless body?
I saw he was just dead. Basically,
He was completely. I don't know how he was contacting us.
Sammy looked unhinged at this show, but yeah, I just seeing Nate get killed was
that was actually the highlight of my day, was seeing Nate get killed.
You know, we missed an opportunity to properly say the word everywhere, everything, and everyone in this
properly.
The everywhere, everything,
everywhere. Sami Callihan goes.
Everywhere I go, I make things happen because I'm Sami Callihan. And this is OVE.
I am the worldwide desperado for a reason.
We have a lot of fun doing Sami Callihan. I wonder if he's heard. I don't.
Oh no! I did the Sami voice.
Oh, he heard.
I did it in front of Sami, and Sami. I've never seen Sami speechless and just start laughing. I did it. I think we did it after Take No Prisoners.
We got to do it together.
We got to do it together, but we did it to him, and he was just like, I can't hit you. Like, I can't hurt you. I'm not getting paid for it. That's what he said. He's like, I can't hurt you right now because I'm not getting paid for it. So, like, he hurt Nate because he's getting paid for that match.
He got taken out on Nate. Basically,
rest in peace, Nate. We hope you recover well.
I haven't heard from him since, to be honest.
I have. He's actually, he got one of those voice communicator things.
Oh, like Stephen Hawking?
Yeah, he's Stephen Hawking. Like, that's all he can do is He blows into a tube, and then it just does all his commands for him.
Man, I wonder if he's going to ever get his revenge.
Ever. That did not end. Technically, there was a no contest.
No contest. It was so goddamn ridiculous, and the crowd was so in fear of everything that was happening.
So, in response, Danny suspends.
He suspended Sami. Sami is suspended.
But according to Sami, that doesn't matter, and we'll see Sami in July.
You can't really.
Maybe we should tell him the show's at Logan.
So he shows the wrong. I drove around everywhere, and I couldn't find.
I found nothing.
So I ended up back in Ohio.
Dude, you know he didn't fly that week. Sami flies everywhere he goes.
Does
because. Yeah, it's Sami.
Yeah.
Like, Sami's top tier talent.
Sami
flies. He felt like driving because he just wanted to.
Oh, that's right. I heard him talking about that.
He just felt like driving that week, so he just drove with the OI4K. Are they OI4K anymore, or is it just OVE?
I think it's OVE. They're pushing OVE everywhere.
Well, I think OVE is a little bit better, especially in this day and age, to not say Ohio is for killers.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of shit happening in Ohio.
There's just a lot of shit happening with killing and stuff. So I think that's a good.
It rolls off the tongue easier.
It does, and he rolled around with OVE, and
I mean sometimes you feel like a road trip, man.
Yeah,
hey, it happens.
You know, those road trips are fun sometimes. So
especially when you get to like bounce ideas around and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we took an intermission.
You had to because we had a dead referee.
We had a dead referee, and we had to clean up the ring, and then we go into another video package.
We have ACH. He was just talking about how he's coming back after the tour of Japan where he had the belt, but just talking about his match going into the main event with David Starr. Just a little hype for that. That brought us back from intermission.
He was a very hyped and very happy ACH. He was on that New Japan high.
He was ready to be back.
Do you know what? He wasn't on a high because he was in New Japan. He was on a high just because he was back. Like, ACH loves AEW.
I mean, yeah, dude. He worked his way up in AEW, which is
the
awesome.
only match he worked WrestleMania weekend was AEW's show with PW Revolver and Fight Club, Pancakes and Pile Drivers.
That's pretty cool.
So he's loyal.
The champ is loyal.
Champ is
okay.
He just was talking about David Starr's Twitter, and then how he's gonna give a shout out to his boy Eddie Kingston, like how he did after every
single
New Japan show.
But no, that was cool. Then we went into the MJF Colt Cabana match where we had some shenanigans.
A little bit of shenanigans in there, and that was fun.
That was cool. There was a DNA test performed where my nurse girlfriend made her wrestling debut, which I missed because I was busy.
You're a horrible boyfriend.
I'm terrible because she's actually a real RN and she's the AEW nurse and she was there and they did a DNA test and of course you give the samples to a nurse to handle them properly. So while they're then to go send off for testing, which apparently testing only took 10 minutes,
multiple seconds,
just testing for. I had to wait like 4 months for a DNA test to come back, but Cabana and MJF's DNA results.
Cabana and
it was like Maury levels of DNA results.
This was,
and they ran that shit quick.
This was a very important thing to MJF and Cabana. This was very important to them.
MJF and they do look related, man. Now that it's been.
I want a legitimate test to see because I really feel like they're like distant cousins at the very least.
At least, at the very least. But that was fun. AC Baby got involved. He read the results. He was Maury for the day.
I didn't know it was Ace at first.
Dude. He had the doctor's mask on.
Yeah, mask on.
Hard to tell, man. Hard to tell. But that was cool. I mean, continuing the feud of Ace and MJF, which has been a really what an ongoing thing. Those two just cannot get enough of each other in Chicago.
So
that was fun. So they just kind of pushed that a bit more.
Cabana got the victory off of that. Yeah. So put his son to shame.
Put his son to shame in the middle of Urban Street.
Then we went to a little triple threat tag match where we had Kurt Stallion and Jake something.
Yeah, two guys are really trying to make a name right now.
Yeah, versus Paco and Ace Romero. We got that's Big and Small.
Is that what they're calling themselves?
No, I don't know what they're calling themselves. They should.
Biggie Smalls?
Biggie Smalls. That's what they should call themselves.
Oh my god, it's like it just writes itself.
It's so good. And then we had a debut with Senza Volta from France, who's this amazing luchador.
Dude, he was cool, man.
So I got to spend some time with him those 2 weeks because he stayed with DJ Z and Pat Monix.
Well, he was endorsed by DJ, right?
He was. Yeah. So DJ helped him get in contact, but after all the shows he did this week, like his work speaks for himself.
He's great.
It was amazing. He was really cool. Got to spend some time with him outside of the shows. I drove him back, and then got to know each other, and then we hung out a couple times. So
and then he got to team with a guy making his return after 12 years,
Spider Nate Webb.
Man. Now that name, a lot of people didn't know who he was.
No, and it was for the first. I mean, it was. He said 12 years.
But the thing is, Spider Nate Webb, he is one of those names of that really classic indie scene of the early 2000s. Are we calling those the 10s? Like what do you call
2000s.
that? The 2000s.
I think because it's like 1900s.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't.
The hundred.
It doesn't take the whole century. So
right.
You say 1900s. So.
Well, I guess we don't call it like the 20s until the 20s and 30s. We don't use like the actual decade classification until we get like the 20, right? Because what do you get? Nobody calls it the teens.
Yeah, the first 20 years is just the 1900s,
the 1900s.
Or the 2000s.
But like he was part of that early group of like that post WCW ECW indies.
It was a very weird indie time. I would say anything between 2002 and 2010. 2008.
Yeah, that's
all
peak.
Cult following, not cult, but all cult following.
Oh, big time. And there were so many interesting characters in that time. Some who survived.
And if you don't know what Nate Webb's main gimmick is he comes out to Teenage Dirtbag, but he doesn't just come out to Teenage Dirtbag as a theme. He stays out there, and his entrance lasts the entire song.
Yeah, it's 4 minutes long.
He's out in the crowd, high-fiving, as he says. He's kissing hands and shaking babies.
What a cool thing for him to come back. He was so happy to be back after so long.
Dude, it was he felt great. Like I worked with him at GCW.
Oh really?
So that's another promotion. Yeah, I forgot about that. I worked with him, so he felt very happy to see me there because he knew nobody besides Danny.
Yeah, I mean, he's
So-
he's part of that old regime.
There
man.
was nobody from that era
Was
that
he-
works for us.
Was he retired or something? What was it?
No, he was just he does the GCW thing. He just has that cult feeling
Yeah.
than what he does, but he was happy and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and he was in great spirits before and after.
Yeah, it was fun. The good match. I mean, imagine 6 guys with very different personalities going at it, and then we finished up with Something and Stallion taking that one.
Which, please watch the DVD because the promo.
We just watched it before we started recording. And
Well, yeah, because I wanted to show Trent because he hasn't seen it.
That was hilarious.
It
I
was-
didn't get to see it being done, so that was awesome.
it was funny because what we have a rule. This is the backstage part again. What we have a rule is you can drop one F-bomb on a promo, and that's like kind of like because we don't want to make it all like fuck. Yeah, like that's not what we want. I might have to censor that now. I'm not going to.
No, uncensored.
It's uncensored.
We're uncensored like a WCW paper.
Oh God! So we're really censored.
we're censored. Even uncensored is censored.
So we allow one F-bomb just to kind of drive home the point. Well,
For
Kurt,
emphasis.
something with Kurt is he has a bit of a potty mouth, and he drops multiple F-bombs. And I was like, I'm not going to reshoot this promo. We're going to make this work.
Yeah.
So
let's not give it away. Let's buy the DVD.
well, yeah. We'll
you got to see how this was handled.
you'll see how we handled it, and it was very well done.
The
in
video
my
on
opinion.
demand is worth this promo.
I think Jake was the cherry on top for it too. he's corrupting poor young Jake's mind.
Poor Jake.
He used to never speak, and now all he does is swear.
After that, we had our women's title match, right? Was that what was next year?
Yeah, we had the women's title match. So we had Kimber versus Kylie, which was another great women's match.
Actually, we missed one that we had David Starr hyping his match later on. He was just giving Eddie Kingston and some crap, and he was scolding him
we
for
talked
his
about that out of
Yeah.
place. That was
Right.
my fault on that.
But no, yeah, Kimber and Kylie. Kylie is super ridiculously
I
loved by the crowd.
Love Kylie Ray so much. Not only is she from Chicago, she's talented. She has the look. She has the gimmick. She has the personality. The crowd goes crazy
They
for
go
her.
nuts, man.
She has that it factor. She literally is the total package. She makes Pokemon cool for people who hate Pokemon.
Did you catch the one guy in the crowd?
No.
There was one guy in the crowd who had at the perfect moment, and I loved it because he picked the right moment. He just goes, "Pokemon sucks," and every Pokemon fan in the crowd turned on him.
F that guy.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah,
that
oh,
guy.
I turned
Fuck that guy.
And then that guy tweeted immediately because I saw it.
Yeah.
They tagged AEW, and he's like, "Guys, the heat is real." Like, I just
Don't mess with Kylie, man.
He's
Kylie
like, I
is-
just insulted Pokemon, and like, he's like, every person in this crowd is turned on me.
You didn't insult Pokemon. You insulted Kylie.
Yeah, that's how I guess how it looked.
That's how it was looked at. And Kylie is she's one of a kind. I mean, enjoy her while you can, because if she's not in WWE's system by 2020, I'll completely be shocked.
I mean, it'd be nice to keep her around for a little bit. Though.
Yeah, I really any show you guys can in Chicago, just go see her, watch her.
Super cool too.
Yeah,
but she came up short, man. Kimberly, dirty tactics, brass knucks.
Kimberly is not going to give up that title anytime soon. Havoc had such a clutch on it for so long.
Yeah, no, it was a nice hot finish there.
Yeah,
Brass knucks.
But we have after the match we had Scarlett, who came out to confront Kylie, and Kylie beat Scarlett at Take No Prisoners.
That's right.
In a surprise match.
Yeah.
To get that title shot. So, and Scarlett won at that show.
Yeah. And then Scarlett attacked. Did she attack Kylie? I don't recall.
Yeah, she attacked Kylie, but Kylie was pretty much done for the count.
Yeah.
And then
the main
event. This was a main event. Like, this was the main event that AEW's fans have been clamoring for, been dying, begging us for, is this is what we talked about. This is something that we've taken from feedback. People want to see the champion in action for that title. They want to see him defend the title. We felt this match delivered. This was a 30-minute match. I've seen.
Was it 30?
30 minutes. Everybody on social media.
50, yeah.
Yeah, so 31 minutes basically.
Yeah.
And they did everything in this match. There was nothing. I mean, Trevor Lee got involved.
Everything happened.
Just
there was. I can still picture it because this is the thing that hugely popped me. Star had ACH in the corner, and ACH did like a kicking sequence to get out of it.
Yeah.
And it was like 8 kicks in 4 seconds. It was some ridiculous, like, I'm talking like Tekken 5, like multi-combo type of shit. And it was unreal. Like, he went hard. And these two they tore the roof off, man. And I loved, they built it. It was so, it started slow. Like, they really were like feeling each other out. I think like they were really just kind of like getting the lay of the land. And then there was a moment in the match where it just like they found each other's open spot to just attack, and it was nuts. This match was nearly 31 minutes of just awesome.
But yeah, I mean,
we got to retain ACH.
ACH was not going to let go of this title. It doesn't matter what the name of the show was. Didn't matter how many people were against him. Like, this meant something to ACH. He let it know to everybody in the crowd that he was hyped. But what came after was insane. So Trevor Lee goes back out and starts pounding on ACH, and then Eddie comes out, and we're expecting Eddie to save him, and he picks him up, but he's not taking him to the back, and you see the look on ACH's face. He was pretty much in tears, like there's too much emotions going on, and Eddie backhands him so bad.
And I didn't catch this at the time, but apparently he looked at him and he said, "I'm sorry."
Did he pull the HBK on him? I was right there, and I couldn't even.
Apparently he said, "I'm sorry."
I gotta look back at the
video. I'd like to watch it again.
This is little things that we missed that we need to sit down.
We need to rewatch the stuff, when we're on from the DVD point of view. But
fans are spoiled. You get to see the whole show.
Yeah, seriously, we don't even see anything anymore. But he gave him an "I'm sorry." But Star was demeaning him, like, do it, come on. And Star had cut him down to size earlier, so King had something to prove to Star, man. But he turned on his best friend, and then there's an ACH post-match reaction to that.
Which this promo...
It's online. We put
it online. So both of these promos that we're talking about upcoming are both online. So
Eddie's response and ACH's reaction.
Well, ACH's reaction is first, because ACH talks about Eddie, talks about what his friendship meant to him and how bad, like, why would you do this for wrestling? Like, what did they really mean that much to you? And it's just he laid out a challenge with his real besties, the besties in the world, are AAW tag team champions who are killing it right now in the UK.
There's gonna be a lot of gold on one side of that ring.
We have our champions, so we're gonna have ACH and the besties in the world versus wrestling, which consists of, for the first time as a team, David Starr, Trevor Lee, and Eddie Kingston. And they reacted after, and David mocking ACH about the promo and about how he's crying about Eddie, and Trevor, and then
Eddie wrapping it up with
Eddie
something.
with the Angels and Devils promo.
That's what it's called.
That's what we're going to refer to that as, Angels and Devils.
Go watch it. It's incredible. I think it's something that, if that doesn't make you want to see what happens next, you have no pulse.
Yeah. Well, it's die as the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That's essentially what this was about.
But that was Wrestling Rules, man. That was What a great show.
It was a great show. You guys got to see some of the feedback that we went through that. Trent and I didn't get to work together as much as we wanted to on this show.
Yeah. So what little option we had to exercise, we were able to do what we did. So we're glad it came off really well. We still had our multimedia experience alongside the live show going on, so that was cool. So we're looking to keep that going. That'll be the next thing. We have a lot going on in July and August, man. August is a double shot. July 21st is going to be at Bourbon again.
Bourbon Street for United We Stand.
That's our yearly July show. United We Stand. Always a great show.
United We Stand is like our SummerSlam, in my opinion. It always has a big feel to it.
Yeah.
It's not our biggest place because it's kind of like SummerSlam runs out of Barclays in Brooklyn. It's not running out of an arena or not like out of a stadium, but like it just there's something about United We Stand. Everybody's kind of at that time kind of done with their random vacations.
Yeah.
Everybody's just in relax mode. Everybody's ready for wrestling, and it just delivers. And this should be no different. So if you want to talk about some of the matches that are announced besides that epic 6-man tag that we just talked about.
Yeah, well, we have the one we announced, was it yesterday?
Yesterday we announced it.
Desmond Xavier and Phoenix is the fire. I think that's going to be hard pressed to be a show stealer.
We also have OVE, which is Jake and Dave Chris versus Brody and Jimmy Jacobs.
That's gonna be interesting to see.
And if you actually go back, something that I didn't want to touch on, that I forgot to. You go back and watch that Jimmy Jacobs promo. He drops hints. He talks about Sammy, talks about how he's not the draw, but he also talks about Kings. And what's Brody's last name?
It's King.
King. So, I mean, Jimmy Jacobs is a mastermind.
No, Jimmy Jacobs is awesome. Definitely always listen to Jimmy Jacobs.
Yeah, so that and his post-match promo with Brody is online. But OVE cuts an amazing promo that will be on the DVD that you guys will see. I mean, we might release that one.
We might. Just keep tuned to AEW social media. You'll see it out. It depends what how things progress over the next few weeks, but keep an eye. We're going to be releasing a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, the video on demand / DVD will have a lot of the stuff we talked about today. So that was it, man. That's Wrestling Rules.
That wraps it up. That wraps up Wrestling Rules. That wraps up our first podcast, episode 1
of the Backstage Boys.
Backstage Boys, BSB.
Backstage pack, all right.
Backstage packs, all right.
All right, well,
that's horrible.
That is terrible. All right,
we're leaving that in, though.
Yeah, we'll leave it in.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave us comments. Let us know what you think about this.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.